Have you ever woken up from a dream and thought to yourself, wow, that was bizarre. Why the heck did I just dream that? If your answer is yes, then I'm sure you probably woke up scared, confused, and concerned on why you just had an insane dream. But regardless of whether you dreamed that you got chased by a grizzly bear or that all your teeth fell out, while dreams can seem random and weird, they actually serve a very important purpose. Today I'll be discussing what that purpose is by talking about three different theories as to why we dream: that they serve as a memory aid, that they can help us regulate our emotions, and that they can help us prepare for real-life threats. The first theory I'll be talking about today is that dreaming can actually help us with our memory. The content of our dreams actually relates to what we encoded the day before, so things that we experienced the day before are actually reflected into our dreams that night. This happens because the brain activity that occurs while using your memory during the day is actually used again when we're sleeping during REM sleep, also known as rapid eye movement sleep. This sleep is characterized by longer, more vivid, more story-like, and more bizarre dreams than what you would experience during non-REM sleep. This comes from the article, What are the Neural Mechanisms and Psychological Functions of Dreams by Tomomi Sumer-tsu from the Science Direct Department on December 12, 2022. Here I have a picture showing the difference between what our brain looks like when we're awake versus what it looks like during REM sleep. As you can see from the red parts, which are what's the most active, we have more activity during REM sleep in parts of the brains that are responsible for memory and emotional regulation. Memories are reprocessed and brought from the hippocampus, which is more focused on short-term memory, to the neocortex, which is more responsible for long-term memory storage when we're sleeping, which can help strengthen our brain. Research conducted by Denise Kumrall actually helps explain how pre-sleep experiences impact our dreams. The participants had to listen to audiobooks before falling asleep, and Denise was able to prove that actually the participants reprocessed the audiobook content while they were in REM sleep. The blind raters in the experience were also able to determine which books the participants listened to just based off of their dream reports. This shows that our brain does reflect back onto our day's memories through dreaming. This comes from the article Pre-Sleep Experiences Shape Neural Activities and Content in the Sleeping Brain from Science Direct in August of 2022. Dreaming helps us reprocess difficult memories in a safer and less stressful environment. The activity of the amygdala, which is the fear center of the brain, actually decreases during REM sleep, which allows us to feel less anxious and less fear when trying to process something that happened. While dreaming, fragments of our memories are actually consolidated into one whole, more coherent version of the memory, which allows us to drop unimportant information and only remember the most important part of a memory. This helps us kind of declutter our brain. The second theory as to why we dream kind of relates to the first one, and it's that dreams can actually help us regulate our emotions. Dreaming can help us better respond and interact to intense and traumatic experiences. While we're asleep, our brain actually enters a state of emotional disinhibition. This is when the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for regulating our emotions and also making us more self-aware, is decreased. This allows our brain to actually free flow and reprocess emotions in any way it has to in order to cope with them without the normal actions that we would stop it by while awake. On the other hand, our limbic system, which is responsible for regulating our emotions and memories, becomes more active during REM sleep, which makes sense because regulating emotions and memories are big parts of why we dream. In addition, your noradrenaline, which is a hormone in the brain responsible for your fight or flight response, also drops during REM sleep, which again just makes you feel less anxious and less stressed out when trying to process stuff. Now you might be wondering, why do people still have nightmares if dreams are supposed to help you regulate your emotions? That's because nightmares are the result of your brain trying to process a particularly traumatic experience. Instead of the amygdala becoming less active during REM, the amygdala actually becomes more active, which causes you to feel more fear and anxiety than you would during a normal dream. Nightmares are triggered by heightened stress and anxiety, which is why they can't be processed like they normally would be. The third theory is that dreaming prepares us to deal with potential threats. The threat simulation theory states that we have dreams of threatening situations, for example, being kidnapped, in order for the brain to prepare how they would handle them if it happened in real life. This theory was proposed by Antti Revonsuo. His research to support his theory consisted of looking at dream reports from university students and trying to find if there's any consistencies on what they dreamed about. He found that a majority of them dreamed about threatening situations. He was also able to prove that people who were experiencing trauma in their everyday life were more likely to have a heightened threat simulation system than those who weren't. This is from the article, The Threat Simulation Theory of the Evolution Function of Dreaming, by PubMed on March 14, 2005. The system developed actually through evolution, which allowed individuals to have the best chance for survival. Today, I discussed 3 theories on why we dream. They act as a memory aid, they help us regulate our emotions, and they help us prepare for threats. Regardless of which theory is most accurate to what actually happens when we sleep, dreams are a vital part of life and they can indicate your true mental state. So next time you wake up heart racing, freaked out about the dream you just had about a grizzly bear chasing you, remember that they actually can benefit you. Thank you.